In your contributions, like in open source and like the projects that you've chosen to work on, one of the consistent themes I think is about maybe we call it like leaf node enablement and decentralization. How is it that you kind of choose a project or like have found your zone of genius?
My zone of genius is very small. It has its moments. So Just was pretty random. Just is a command runner. It has syntax that's almost exactly like make, the build tool, except it has all of the build tool features of make like stripped out, and it avoids all of make's idiosyncrasies. It has very good error message. It's basically statically analyzed. It's more like Rust than like JavaScript, right? In the sense that it doesn't sort of just evaluate things at runtime and you make a typo and it errors. It statically analyzes everything up front and figures out what recipes you're going to want to run up front and everything. And that was totally accidental. I was using make as a command runner. I had, done some projects in C and C++ in university, and so I'd gotten used to having a make file. And if you do that, you automatically find that it's very useful to put other commands in there that aren't strictly build commands. And you do that for like a couple of years, and then you realize that it's very, like, you have these weird idiosyncrasies of make. I got irritated that I had to be in the root directory of the project to run make. Like, you have to be in the same directory as the make file to run the make command. And so I wrote a wrapper that was called J, that the only feature difference from make is that it had a file called, I think the file was originally called just, and it would cd up till it found the file called just, and then it would invoke it using make. It just shelled out to make. That is the first and most important feature of just. I didn't write it to get a big audience. I sort of wrote it to like scratch an itch. But then at some point I was like, well, I guess, other people might like to use this. And so I did like a lot of like active shilling. Every time I would have a release, I would go on r Rust on Reddit, or I'd like post on Hacker News or something, and I'd be like, hey, like just version whatever is out. And then if you look at the star graph on GitHub, it's just been like crazy. There's been a few like inflection points where it even sped up the rate of it getting stars. And so I think it just scratched an itch that other people had.